Hey, what's going on?
It's me.
Oh, there's the explosion that.
Cold brew got me like.
Hey, can you play the one where he hits people with sticks, please?
Brother, I've been hitting people with sticks my whole life.
That's the
Nothing
one.
makes me laugh harder than someone saying they've been hitting people with sticks their whole life. I don't know why. I just don't know why. But
It's a
it's
hell of
not
a qualification.
I've never heard anybody say it before. And it can't be true. Oh, I just ate some almond butter, crunchy almond butter, and some of it just flew out of my mouth. So anyway, welcome to Cold Brew Got Me Like. This week, the new TV show that's sweeping the nation. It's number 2 right behind Big Bang Theory on all the major apps. It's must-see TV on Twitch on every Tuesday night at 6:30 Pacific, 7:30 Mountain, 8:30 Midtown, Central, and then Eastern, 9:30. Yeah, it's 9:30 on the East Coast for all the people watching this. So, yeah, this is number 2 behind Big Bang Theory, and the Joe Rogan Show is number 3. So we are doing really well.
What kind of cold brew are you drinking?
You know, I'm drinking Califia. You said it a different way, Greg. What did you say? How'd you pronounce it?
Califia.
Okay,
It's like
Califia.
So just think of California.
Okay. I have to think of California when I drink it, like palm trees
Well, I mean,
and
that's
stuff?
how you.
I know, I'm
end
kidding.
up pronouncing it.
That was just a dumb joke. Califia, it's the pre-mixed kind because I went to Ralph's out here, and Ralph's cold brew selection is fucking just the pits. Because, you know, normies are the last ones to get good shit. Like, they keep the normies in the dark, while the whole rest of humanity is drinking oat milk and fabulous oat milk and drinking amazing cold brew. The masses are stuck listening to Dave Matthews and drinking crappy iced coffee, and they resent it. That's part of the reason why they're angry all the time. And then people like Tucker Carlson makes it like, you know, it's American to drink crappy coffee. Fancy coffee is for communists. So then people drink shitty stuff and eat shitty stuff just as some sort of performance of Americanness. And they're fucked. And so Kroger is definitely considered more American than like Sprouts. And so Kroger, or Ralph's as it's called out here on the West Coast, you know, keeps their, they make people, you go in there and you think everything's Oscar Mayer and Dole and it's all just the greatest hits of exploitative capitalism. And I'm sure, actually, I mean, I always think that Trader Joe's, just because they have cuter packaging, are completely humane, but I know that they get their bananas from the same plantations. But as far as like cold brew and stuff, like Sprouts has got a selection like you wouldn't believe. But I guess to like a Republican, that's a bad thing. I don't know why, but they're like, we want to drink shit with coffee grounds in it because that's American to have shit in your teeth. I don't understand it, but I do understand it.
I was promoting coffee once in a Kroger. And I was telling the guy, yeah, we got organic coffee. We got fair trade coffee from Colombia and Ethiopia. And he's like, I don't want any of that. He's like, I want American coffee. Got any coffee from America?
Cleveland roast. Wait, Greg, can you get your microphone like closer? It does sound like kind of.
Jesus, we're so fucked.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Say something.
Check.
I don't know why. It sounds dim to me, or, you know, different, like distant. Doesn't it to you as well, John? I know you hate when I mention technical shit on the show.
Yeah, this was banned.
We're supposed to fake it.
This topic was banned.
America, you fake it till you make it, and then you just keep faking it because no one ever thinks they made it, even when they made it. So everyone just fakes it forever. Yeah, canaries is what we call money here on Cold Brew Got Me Like, and it's because Jimmy Valiant, a wrestler, the same man who said he's been hitting people with sticks his whole life, he in the 1980s for a brief period decided to try to introduce calling dollars canaries, and then It never caught on as far as I know. I've asked a bunch of people if they've ever called dollars canaries, and nobody seems to have done it. But Jimmy Valiant did it for a little bit. Yeah, play that one more time.
100 canaries!
Yeah, that's Jimmy Valiant saying $100 in 1983 in, where was that? Where were they filming that? Atlanta?
Jim Crockett Promotions, the Omni, Techwood Drive, the studio, baby.
Yeah. Which were all like, if anyone's watched old 80s wrestling, like especially Atlanta wrestling, like they were running that whole thing, even though it was a pretty great looking promotion out of like a converted convenience store. Like Jim Crockett Promotions was run with like 3 people on their staff,
all named
in
Crockett.
a converted convenience store, and they just had like one. Like I guess they hired a printing firm to make like a mid-Atlantic wrestling background, and like these backgrounds were so flimsy because whenever the wrestlers fought in front of these like backgrounds, you saw they were just like a 3-part screen, like a folding screen. So, man, I miss those days when you could have just a screen that said wrestling printed on it. Then you could rent a convenience store, and then next thing you know, you were hanging around with a bunch of muscly guys doing coke. Yeah, can't do that anymore. Anyway, so Jimmy Valiant got it in his head one day that he was going to call money canaries, dollars canaries, and we're trying to bring it back. So if you need to borrow money from your friend or something, or if you're the bank, if you're a fan of Cold Brew Got Me Like, and I mean there must be a lot of fans because we're right behind, like whatever I said before, like The Big Bang Theory's #1, 2 Men and a Baby, or what's that one with Charlie Sheen was on? The man who has sex with a lot of people, and then the other man who doesn't have sex with people.
The Arrival?
2 Men and a Baby?
No. It's like, what was that show? 2.5 Men. That's what it was. Okay. So, yeah, it's like Big Bang Theory's #1, 2.5 Men's #2, Cold Brew Got Me Like is #3, and the Joe Rogan Show's #4. And so we're just doing really good. And anyway, if you're a fan, if you go to the bank, say, listen, I'm interested in a loan for 3,500 canaries or whatever, that kind of stuff, and see if we can get it going. And we'll know if it goes, if it goes crazy, we'll know because next thing you know, Joe Biden will be like, we just passed a stimulus bill of 1.9 trillion canaries. And wouldn't
1,400 of which you can have now.
Yeah, you can have 1,400 canaries now because if you add the 600 that came before last year, then that's 2,000. And no Democrats are ever going to get elected again, ever. Good job, Joe. Like run around the whole campaign saying you give people $2,000 and give them 1,400 instead. So everybody's mad at you the same way they're mad at their redneck uncle.
Hey, can you hear me with this mic?
That's better.
Okay. We take, in addition to canaries, we take 1 Bitcoin, but only one, not pieces of Bitcoin. So if you're going to donate Bitcoins, they work, but only 1.
What do you mean 1? What you mean 1?
One Bitcoin is worth $50,000.
First of all, those are called
One
online.
Bitcoin is 50,000.
First of all, those are called online canaries, Bitcoin.
Oh. Okay.
But, internet canaries. Sorry, not online. Yeah, so if you're going to donate, you can donate. We take internet canaries. I don't know how they go in the
just click jar. That canary button right there on your Twitch screen.
Okay. So click the canary button, and welcome to Cold Brew Got Me Like. And we're off and running, and let me tell you that we have a podcast now. And it's available on Spreaker, correct?
Yes, sir.
Spreaker, Spreaker, which is like exactly the word streaker, which was what they called 1970s people that ran around hockey rinks nude. And now they changed the T to a P, and that's called Spreaker. And I wish I could have been in that meeting when they named it because it's a horrible name. But anyway, it's a Spreaker, and you can listen to the podcast, which is the audio of this. So now here's the thing. You're like, well, what am I supposed to do when you guys watch your funny videos? How am I going to know how am I going to watch along? Well, here's the thing. I'm going to tweet. That's right. You got to look at Twitter and Spreaker and Twitch.
Synergy.
It's a wonderful life we set up for ourselves, isn't it?
You got to plug.
All you need to do is choke to death in wires.
Yeah.
And in between that, you can laugh at witty comments about videos. That's the new life. Fake it till you make it. And when you make it, more videos. So you go to my Twitter, at The Crofton Show, and my Instagram is now called at The Crofton Show too, so it's so easy. And on my Twitter, pinned to the top, I have a team of people who have been able to pin things to the top of my Twitter account. I have like 4 or 5 people working on this. John Burr has been essential to this. Eric, the technical guy, we've all gotten together and we've been able to physically pin things to the top of my Twitter account. I've never heard of this, but you can check out my pinned tweet will have the links to these videos. And today we're going to be talking about Badge Man. And let me introduce, even though I should have started with this, who's on the show. My brother, Greg Crofton. And Greg Crofton is...
What's up?
The CEO. Here you go. And then...
the caffeine... My mic's...
Oh, Greg's back.
Greg's got his microphone. He's got his Raiders. For some reason, he's in front of a Raiders logo, but I love it. Greg always is...
Apparently that What's Up was really effective.
Oh, that's your new slogan. I mean, without a doubt.
Yeah,
it's all about taglines. So, yeah, I mean, you got to say that for the rest of your life now. Anything that gets a laugh, you have to keep forever. I went to an open mic in New York in the early 90s. I started doing stand-up in New York in the early 90s. And back then, there was no internet. So this introduction for the people on the show has gone great so far. So Greg Crofton, who's in charge of Channel Nonfiction, which is a great website / Twitter site / that he does focuses on documentaries, does
film reviews. It's just one-stop shop for documentary fans.
If you need to know what's up,
I appreciate you mentioning it, bro.
No problem. What's up? So and then there's John Burr, who has what's your tagline, sir?
What's my tagline?
Yeah, what do you say when I say John Burr is also on the show? He's the third face you're seeing in this Sorry, go ahead.
Triumvirate.
Thank you.
That's when I remind people to not forget about the Canaries jar, located just under the 3 floating amorphous blobs that are our faces.
Okay, that's a pretty long tagline, but okay.
Well, what's up was taken.
All right, and we got Eric Wilson, also known as Wild Cub, and Jan Ort in his musical ventures. But our technical director is Eric Wilson, and he's the reason that we're all on this stream.
Jesus, we're so fucked. But anyway...
Okay, that's one of the sound... See, Eric has made a soundboard, so we have a bunch of clips that we can play. We have a little clip of Kim Cattrall talking about her bullshit, whatever she...
UJ, stop it, so red!
Play it one more. We should make that clip a little
UJ,
bit.
stop it, so
Do that
red!
again. One more.
UJ, stop it, so red!
Yeah, we need... Do you have one about the she-dogs?
Winked at all the she-dogs.
Jesus.
I don't know if you guys know that Kim Cattrall is like, you can be a successful actor and also be completely insane. So, I mean, it's really funny when actors do other endeavors and reveal that they are mental midgets. Like, I would never have known that based on her character in Sex and the City, I would never know that she was insane, but I like when they try and branch out and then everybody's like, oh my God, this person's insane. I was telling a story about the open mics in terms of like, so you said, what's up? And
Yep.
I went to this open mic once and this guy told me I had presence, but my jokes were too dirty. And he said, if you say something funny, you keep it for the rest of your life. And I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're not funny, then yeah, you have to guard your He was like, you keep your laughs. If you get one laugh, it's a miracle. And you keep it forever, locked away. And that's your gold. Anyway, that's and he was a comedian who'd been a comedian his whole life. So, people who can't, you have to guard their laughs like gold. You probably are in the wrong business.
Was he a large man? Was he a small man?
He was just an older man who was trying to show me the ropes of comedy. He said, I work too blue.
Oh, I said blue. Was he Shecky Green?
It was somebody who thought he was like open mic Shecky Green. He was a guy who thought like there's a certain amount of open micers who decide that they're in show business. It's just some kind of parallel show business. Like, they're like, oh, this is just show business. It's not as popular as the other show business.
The real vaudeville.
Yeah, and you're like, no, you're not in show business. Oh, yes, we are. We're in a parallel, more real, down-to-earth show business.
You're a Walmart
laughs,
reader.
with a lot less laughs. We have to guard our laughs. These people throw their laughs around like they're free. We guard ours like gold. So this man was, and everyone at the open mic said I should listen to him because he was on Letterman. And then someone whispered to me that he was on Letterman as a barber, which was his day job, cutting David Letterman's hair in a sketch. In a non-speaking role. And this guy people were like, he was on Letterman. He was on Letterman.
He was still focused, though. That's all you need in life.
He was faking it till he made it.
Yeah. He was there.
He was near death, and he was still faking it. I think you should fake it till you make it or until you're near death. And then maybe you might want to call off the faking so you have a little bit of realness before you die. Like maybe 6 months of realness. And what would that realness consist of? Just being honest to your friends about, like, I don't want to watch that YouTube video. Okay, so we are off. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And we're going to talk about Badgeman today. If you guys listened to my appearance on the Daily Zeitgeist, shout out to the Daily Zeitgeist, who has that organization, Jack, Miles, Anna, Sophie, not Danny. Anyway, so that whole crew down there, thank you very much for everything, because being on that show is, I've reached a lot more people that way, and they're good people. A lot of good people like that show. And anyway, so I was talking about Badgeman on that show. I watch a lot of JFK truther. Let me kick things off just by saying, if anyone watching this thinks there was only one gunman, you can forget about dating me. It's probably not a big deal. I don't think, if you were dating me, you could be sitting beside me in this storage room right now. But seriously, I can't date a Republican, and I cannot certainly date some idiot who thinks there was one gunman.
It was a clean shot.
Yeah, right. Have you ever seen those reenactment shows where they have like a melon on a stick, and like Vincent Bugliosi was involved in one of them? The guy who prosecuted the Mansons, he was
dirty.
He's a terrible man. He beat women and forced women to get abortions and stuff. And he's like, yeah, of course, these people think there's a multiple gunman because they're all stupid. And look at this. You can shoot a melon 3 times with an antique gun from 5,000 yards. 1 out of 8 times if you're the world's greatest marksman. You know what I mean? He's like, this proves it. The world's greatest marksman that we had here to shoot at this melon did pull it off 1 time out of 80. So that means it is possible, and therefore it's true. And everyone else can eat shit. Sorry,
he was closer.
The cold brew's hitting me a little bit.
That window was in good position on that car.
I mean, not as good a position as the Grassy Knoll was on that car, which is where Kennedy's head reacts to. Kennedy's head reacts to the Grassy Knoll, not to the goddamn building. I mean, there are so many inconsistencies. And then there's the 3 tramps, and then there's Badgeman. And Badgeman, if you don't know, we're going to talk about him right now.
Yeah. Let's tell them who Badgeman is.
Let's roll. Let's roll. Everybody's tuned out already. They're like, he keeps saying Badgeman. Okay, for those of you listening on the podcast who think we just put out like are playing day spa music for no reason, this is a YouTube video of the photograph by this woman named, I can't remember her name. Her name's like Woolman or something. This is called the Woolman photo, and it's a photo a woman took of the Grassy Knoll right when Kennedy got shot. And you can see Kennedy's head going to the left, which is the direction he would have gone if he'd been shot from the direction of the Grassy Knoll. His head would have gone forward if he'd gotten shot by the man in the window, Lee Harvey Oswald, who was a patsy. And if you ever go out with me, you will hear that expression. You will hear me say patsy very often. If you ever go out to dinner with me, I mostly talk about how Lee Harvey Oswald was a patsy. So you can look forward to that. And then funny jokes about patty melts, where I tie in patsy melt.
Or how the popcorn guy is a patsy.
Who?
The popcorn man at the movie theater.
Oh, I thought you meant I thought the popcorn man was another character.
Is that a fourth shooter?
I know about Umbrella Man. I know about Badge Man. I do not know about Popcorn Man. But I'm totally
Popcorn Man, Woody Harrelson's dad.
I'm totally open to it. There's no doubt that I would be probably on board with Popcorn Man.
Anyway, the photograph was by Mary Moorman, Moorman.
Okay, so now this is the other funny thing about this whole phenomenon is I sit in my apartment watching these videos because it's been a pandemic. And they take up time because, for example, this is a zoom in, a gradual zoom in with like day spa music.
Daniel Lanois.
We're talking over it, but this guy made a video, and I know it's a guy. I don't have to even there's no way a woman made this. And it's just because women are just smarter than men. There's no doubt about it. If someone said spend an hour and a half zooming in on a JFK, basically also zooming in on a bush. It's a picture of a bush. I hate to say it. I believe that JFK was shot from the Grassy Knoll, but this photo does not show anything except bushes because it's from too far away.
So Badge Man's in there.
So Badge Man, yes, this is exactly right, John. I'm glad you said that. Yes, so we're looking at right now a clump of bushes behind the wall on the Grassy Knoll. Now we're supposed to be able to see a man with a badge shooting a gun, and you can see the muzzle flash.
Wow.
So right now, it really looks a lot like nothing. I mean, it's a fucking black and white picture from 1963.
Do I need to
point and shoot?
Cross my eyes, sort of?
Yeah, this is the thing. And once you get deep into this theory, people are like, act like you're an asshole that you don't see it plain as day. They're like, oh, I guess you can't recognize a gunman.
Well, it's hard to know which area to even look at.
That's what I'm saying. And they're like, there it is, asshole. Stop being difficult. You see him. I don't really. Listen, are you on board with us or not? This is all about wasting time.
I think
if you want to make it pleasant, it's better to go along with it.
I think I see jet fuel melting steel beams.
Okay, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's... Popcorn Man melted the beams. He did it with butter.
So this is what
in movie theater butter melts steel.
So is this what men discuss when they're waiting in the deer stand?
Yes, and
Badge Man.
But I think most of the people in a deer stand would probably be like single shooter.
Oh yeah, if the deer stand men, they could have made the shot.
Right.
Yeah, but most deer stand men think that everything's a real thing until like just recently, and now everything's a conspiracy. But they think everything before up until 9/11 and a little bit after that, they believe everything the government says about everything. And then all of a sudden now they believe nothing. I don't get it. But they're like, 9/11 wasn't an inside job. You shut the fuck up. But what about Dominion voting servers? I mean, it's a total shift. Like most Republicans are now the main conspiracy theorists, which has taken all the fun out of being conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, it's no longer. I think Alex Jones ruined conspiracy theories for everyone.
Alex Jones. I was just watching last night. I was watching a show about the Memphis Pyramid. Do you guys know about the Memphis Pyramid?
Oh yeah, I got the skull in there, right?
Yes. You know about the skull? Oh my God, we should be in a deer stand right now.
Yes,
deer stand.
We're in a virtual deer stand.
Okay, that was it, right, Eric? Okay, so these people made some guy in his I guess in his living room while his wife was just crying somewhere else in the house, made a video where he just zoomed in on this black and white picture, and then he didn't even put narration. He just put but I to his credit, he didn't put an outline around Badgeman. He left it up to you. And so, based on that, I would say, what are you talking about is what I would say to that. I would say that's a picture of a bush.
So can you tell me anything more about Badgeman? What am I supposed to know about
Okay, Greg. Oh, thank you, John, for that segue.
Well, he should be like some kind of mafioso, right? I mean,
it's hard to say. There's so many.
All right, let me read a little bit.
In my opinion, there had to have been at least, based on what I've read and heard, there had to have been at least probably 40 gunmen that day.
Badgeman is a name given
for
to
a variety of motivations. No coordination. They all showed up separately.
Unknown figure that is reputedly visible within the famous Mary Mormon photograph of the assassination of JFK.
Very famous.
Famous in quotes.
Some researchers have theorized
household name Mary Mormon
that this figure is a sniper firing a weapon at the president from the Grassy Knoll in Dealey Plaza. Even though an alleged muzzle flash obscures much of the detail, the Badgeman has been described as a person wearing some kind of police uniform. The moniker itself derives from a bright spot on the chest, which is said to resemble a gleaming badge.
Gleaming what?
Badge.
Okay.
Gleaming badge. The problem is
speculation about the Badgeman figure helped create conspiracy theories regarding a plot made by members of the Dallas Police Department to kill President Kennedy. In response, abundant skeptics proposed numerous alternative interpretations of the image.
Like many landscapers said, it looked like a bush.
These are taken with a Polaroid.
Greg, your microphone sounds better before you put it closer to your
even
mouth.
Better.
How's that? Better?
Yes.
Okay. They were taken by a Polaroid. With a Polaroid. That's crazy. How can you have any kind of detail with a Polaroid?
You really can't. I mean, but all right, now in the next video, we will see more. See, like, this guy left it up to our imagination. I kind of admire this man who just, like, while his kids, it was probably his kid's birthday while he was putting the finishing touches on this great video of this bush. And they were like, Dad, get in here. We're blowing out the candles. And he was like, I'm doing important work. So this is the next video where they get more like, here, in case you don't see Badgeman, here's Badgeman. So here's Badgeman. And here's the guy who shot. This guy is named Nix. And he shot the other film. So like Nix shot film from the other side. Zapruder shot the famous film. This guy named Nix, who's that guy you just saw in the video.
I think it's Fritz von Erich.
He shot video from the other side. He does look exactly like Fritz von Erich. And he has the same kind of, he's a little gruff, like he looks like, he kind of acts like him. He didn't put the claw on the reporter though. So this is also relatable. Everybody in the audience is like, what? It doesn't matter. Fritz von Erich is a Dallas wrestling promoter, and his famous move was the claw. If you want to Google Fritz von Erich, we don't have enough time in this show. I mean, we got to keep our position in the NBC lineup. So, I forget what I'm talking about, but this guy Nix shot film from the other direction, and the two women that woman or
Mormon
who shot the picture we just looked at of Badgeman, she is actually in this guy Nix's video because he's shooting from the other direction, and you can see her in the video that he took. And I want to talk about just quickly. Just can you roll it, Eric? Okay, now I want to say these. Can you pause it? Just pause it. A lot of these videos, almost all these conspiracy videos, were made by. I don't know if you guys are tech people in the chat, like if you know the kind of person who uses this program called PowerDirector, because that little thing in the bottom right-hand corner of this guy's video, all the people on YouTube who put up JFK conspiracies use PowerDirector, and I feel like that's probably a program from like 1998.
Yeah, you're just not updating at any cost. No way.
Yeah, I don't think they know how to update. You actually just made me sweat just even saying updating. Like I'm in there, I'm with them. I don't even know how to use PowerDirector.
That's how they get you.
I wish I knew how to
Vaccinations
use PowerDirector.
and updating your CyberLink PowerDirector.
But as PowerDirector, think about it. Like, you don't hear much about that. You hear about the Avid, which for years was the way they edited films. And then you hear now about, what's the other one? The more popular, Final Cut. Final Cut or Premiere. You never hear anything of PowerDirector. So I'm just saying, either PowerDirector is a dark horse you should invest in the stock market, or more likely it's probably an older model of editor.
I can't wait till we're solving assassinations via TikTok videos. It's going to be
Yes.
good. Deep fake
Well, there aren't any more assassinations because no one would let a fucking president roll past a bunch of loose people in a fucking convertible. So here's this guy, Mick. This is the guy who shot the film that came from the other direction.
Concentrate building. No, I thought it came from a fence. Between the book depository and the railroad track.
He's talking about the Grassy Knoll.
No, spoken with. Also believe the shots came from there. Most everyone thought it came from the fence behind the book depository. Did you have occasion to speak with Forrest Sorrells, who was, of course, a friend of yours, and the Secret Service agent in charge of Dallas that day? Yes, I did. Did he tell you where he thought the shots came from?
He wasn't
thought they
from
were
there.
coming from the
Couple things. Before, like, this was like Woodstock 99, basically, for the people who were there. Like, before, there were no outdoor music festivals in 1963. So these people, like, for them, this was like, I don't know, it was like going to see Lady Gaga and she got shot. Or, I mean, it's like a huge deal. Like, it's like the biggest, this was like their weekend. Just, I mean, anyway, I just thought about it. Those people running up the hill, you know, this is the most exciting thing that's ever happened in Dallas to these people. But this guy's point is that, actually, that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the music. That's what I meant to talk about. I want to talk about the music that's going on in this video.
Is that Bill Conti music? What the hell's going on?
All these fucking people who use PowerDirector also are frustrated, like, European, like, they wish they were DJing also. So they try and mash them up. Like, who wants to see a fucking JFK video with dance music on it? And they all have it.
Chief via Aphex Twin.
And they all have it. And it's just an example of how lonely white men are in this culture and why they're always mad. Because they're just they have no way to express themselves. If they're interested in music, they figure, well, I'll put it on a JFK conspiracy video. They have no outlets. They're so fucking trapped in this crazy idea of masculinity where you... Anyway.
Well,
Anyway.
It's also shows you how expensive decent music is.
Which is a more relevant point. You're right, because there's no doubt that they would rather have Creedence Clearwater Revival on there.
Oh yeah,
You're right.
Fortunate
Okay,
Son,
this
right
is
here.
public domain. But why is goth like this is the kind of music they would play at a roller rink, like a goth roller, like a roller rink in Berlin in like 1972. Oh my God.
So producer Eric just filled us in that
I'm always wrong.
the maker of the video did in fact make this music.
It doesn't change any of my important points about masculinity. Now roll it.
same place,
Which is
behind the fence.
Oh, there he is.
Bagpipes.
There's his badge. You see that badge, that white dot on the
Yeah,
bottom?
that's it.
Oh, I see it now.
But there's a picture that is not
It's a
released.
badge.
That's them running toward the stage of Woodstock 99. And there's the president in a fucking open limousine being surrounded by just any random person that just wants to come near him. Okay. Now, who's that? That's not Badge Man. They were playing that music that day. That's real music that was happening on Dealey Plaza.
I have an interesting tidbit from the Badgeman Wikipedia page.
Mm-hmm.
In 1982, Gary Mack, the longtime curator and archivist for the 6th floor museum at Dealey Plaza, the former Texas School Depository, was the first person to claim discovery of the Badgeman.
That's very interesting because the 6th floor Depository Museum is the one that they're trying to get rid of these conspiracies because they are a single gunman organization. Which I think is so interesting. Yeah, he probably got kicked out of their organization for talking about Badge Man. Because they're all about John Wilkes Booth.
Really?
Oh, there we go. Can you pause it? There we go.
This is what I waited for. Forehead.
Now, the only problem with that is that's like a very... they really treated that photo.
What we have here is a diagram of sorts.
Yeah. But look how far away his shoulder is from his head. You know what I mean? Like, if Badge Man was real, he'd be like a Frankenstein.
Looks like Nostradamus.
Yeah. That's not, what if that, oh my God, Greg just brought up something really interesting. What if that muzzle's flash is a huge beard?
Rasputin was reputed to have never died.
What if he was smoking a cigar? And I mean, that badge.
What if he was vaping? That looks like vape smoke.
Well, they hadn't invented vaping yet, unless that's another conspiracy angle. He could have had like a top secret, because they thought he was CIA or something, so they might have had vapes already.
Does his badge, in fact, say CIA?
It's hard to see. I'm going to go ahead and assume it does.
That shoulder patch is way too far to the right.
That's what I mean. That's the only thing. Is I talked about this on Daily Zeitgeist. Is if this guy stepped out of the bushes, people would not be frightened of him because he had a gun. They would be frightened of him because he'd be a mutant. You know what I mean? He would come out like a creature from the Black Lagoon, being like, "I am Badge Man," and they're like, "Your head's too big. Why is your badge so small? Why's your left shoulder so far away from your head? Don't worry about it, blah." So that's it. That's a close-up of Badge Man. And it's like, I mean, I can see it, but there's no way that's a shoulder patch. That might be his badge, and that might be his face, and that might be a muzzle flash. And I would definitely say if that is his face, that has to be his forehead. There's no other way it could be anything else. If you're going with that person, if you're going with the scenario, this is a person and not just like a bunch of leaves, then that's definitely his forehead. But there's no fucking way that's his shoulder patch. I don't care. You can. I'll never agree to that. I draw the line somewhere. I'll be like, listen, that's a badge, maybe.
If you hear Chris say that he believes that shoulder patch is legit, then he is under duress, perhaps kidnapped.
You know what else I would say? I would say, like, listen, I would actually have, if I went to one of these meetings at like the Sheraton, and it was like a PowerPoint, I'd be like, raise my hand, and I'd be like, listen, you guys are undermining your own cause with this shoulder patch. I mean, just leave that out. Like, I kind of believe the badge and the face and the muzzle flash, even though it could be a huge white beard. But the shoulder patch is really...
That's where I draw the line.
Fucking with, it's diminishing your standing.
This figure was definitely able to use a high-powered rifle or some kind of high-powered gun. Because he's huge.
Yeah, this man, you mean...
Yeah.
Badge Man. The proportions are really wrong. And that's to avoid that, really, this is the best this picture can look. This is
Why
super...
does it say forehead?
That's what I mean. Like, it's like, of course it's his forehead. If it's his head, then that's his forehead. You don't have to point at it. Like, I mean, I get it. He's a man. You are calling him Badge Man, not like Badge Octopus. So clearly he has a forehead.
This is a piece of American art we're looking at, I think.
I love it. Yeah, actually, if I could get... Oh, my God, you're so right, Greg. If I get that fucking framed on my wall, that would be the best.
Shirt right here.
All right. If you get past the date with me, ladies, then not only is it hang out in this storage room, but you also, after we talk about the fact that there are multiple gunmen at the Grassy Knoll. And I love that they're all men, which, of course, you just know Of course, they're men. There are no women shooting at fucking John F. Kennedy. And there are no women making these videos of the guy shooting John F. Kennedy. Yeah, after we talk about multiple gunmen at Red Lobster, then you will come home and you will notice the giant framed painting I have. Because I'm going to have someone paint this.
Yes.
It's oil. Oh, so good. And I actually, and it's going to be so big that it's going to be the same. I'm going to be the same size next to it as I am on this screen in my house. Who's that? Oh, that's just Badge Man.
You don't know who that is?
But I don't. You don't recognize that that like zoom in. Certainly, you're familiar with the larger photo from Mormon.
I believe it's Mary Church of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah. So yeah, of course you're not familiar with the Mormon photograph. Get out of my house. If this had worked out, we could have named our first child Mormon Photo.
If he had, if this muzzle flash was this large, JFK would have jumped out of the way. It's like a musket.
That's a good point, Greg.
Maybe he was.
I'm surprised that's never been brought up before.
Maybe he was a reenactor and took.
Is that a deleted scene in JFK?
Yeah, like everyone would have been coughing. God damn, that guy just must have, or maybe he was a photographer with one of those big, like, old-time flash things.
Jackie was like, "What's that plume of smoke? Oh, brains!"
Oh, you see a bullet? You mean that? I know what you're talking about. I wish I had a cursor, but that thing that like lozenge-looking thing underneath muzzle flash. Is that what you're talking about?
Producer Eric has spotted a projectile being launched through the beard cigar smoke muzzle flash through the muzzle flash coming towards us, the viewer.
That freak just shot a lozenge out of his beard. Everyone run. Also, the president's been shot in an unrelated event. There's some kind of wizard behind the fence. He's got a tiny badge and like one giant shoulder, and he just shot a lozenge out of his beard. Everyone run. There's more going on. I knew this was an Illuminati thing. Not only was Kennedy shot by 40 separate people. Oh, fuck. Okay.
Jesus, we're so fucked. But anyway,
just hit the canaries for fun.
Canaries!
And hit the canaries button to give Chris a little canaries.
Okay, we've already, almost the whole show's over and we haven't gotten through much. Okay. This is, the next video here is just plain old hilarious.
Hard
Hat Man. Yeah, we're not even going to get into that. There's like the whole village people behind the fence. It's Hard Hat Man. I didn't even think about that.
Hard Hat Man.
The village people had a hard hat man, a policeman, an Indian, and what was the other one? There were 4, wasn't there? Construction worker. There was construction worker, policeman, Indian, and who was the other? Biker.
The
biker.
3 tramps.
Guy with the big mustache.
3 tramps.
There. No one has talked about the possibility that the village people were behind that fence.
No.
Okay, now this is some nut job who. This is a picture of Officer Tippett that's on the screen right now. Now, Officer Tippett is the man that was allegedly assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald at the theater where Popcorn Man was. At the theater, Lee Harvey Oswald was tracked down at the theater. He was sitting in a theater when the policeman caught up to him. And the policeman that caught up to him was named Officer Tippett. And apparently, if you believe the official story, which I don't, JFK shot Officer Tippett, which, if you even do a cursory examination of the facts, you'll find out that that's completely impossible because there's no way that Officer Tippett could have gotten to where he was. What? Oh, no. So anyway, some fucking maniac, and this is another one of these men who are obsessed with the JFK assassination and don't like their kids and make these videos all the time. This is... Somebody just made a video where they showed Badge Man and just kept showing Officer Tippett's face over him, even though I don't know no one in my. I've done extensive research on this. No one in my that I've come across has said Officer Tippett was Badgeman. But
I mean, look at the hair.
Okay, so let's listen. But there's music on this one too, and it's even weirder. This goes on for 3 minutes with no commentary.
Sometimes the truth is the best commentary.
Okay, so if say it's your birthday party and you're like, "Where's Dad?" and you go upstairs and he's using PowerDirector to make a video like this, call the police. Call Badgeman. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of that. That's the end of that segment. Thank you for
humoring Chris.
Tolerating that. Yeah. Probably, how many people have left the chat? Seriously.
We still got 27 somehow.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Well, good. I feel like we've all learned something. Somewhere at the intersection of it's a fun way to pass the time. I understand conspiracy theories have just been ruined because, I mean, if it's something from a distance that long ago, you can kind of muse about it without any problem. But if you start musing about whether the election was real, then you got problems, especially if it's like the current election. Like,
we do have from the chat, we have some potential badge men. We have William Lee Golden from the Oak Ridge Boys. We have Dan Aykroyd. We have George Prescott Bush. We have George Herbert Walker Bush. And
okay, well, George H.W. was there.
Uh-oh.
George H.W. was actually in Dallas that day.
See, you don't want to make jokes like this with the truth slinger around. Chris
the truth slinger.
That's you, baby.
Well, George H.W. Bush, I like that. I'm the truth slinger. I like that. This is a real moment. Thank you, John. Speaking as the truth slinger, George H.W. Bush was in Dallas that day, and he was alleged to have been the guy who was directing the whole thing, although the evidence on that is scant. But he was the CIA director. I think he was the CIA director after that, but he may have, whatever. All these people are had their hands in this. Even Jackie Kennedy tried to choke him a little bit, I think. Jackie Kennedy, they say she was, she might have, I think she might have, the theory that's the fucking limo driver shot him.
Oh.
That's incredible. I don't believe that at all. That's total horseshit. That's probably the right one, too. It's probably true. The limo driver's like, I did it. But anyway, the limo driver's one of the things. Another thing is there was a bullet hole in the windshield of the limousine. And there's a guy from Ford Motors who actually saw the limousine after the shooting. They brought it to Ford Motors. They fucking brought it in on a truck or flew it and had the windshield changed because there was a bullet from the front that went through the windshield. And there are tons of people, well, tons might be an overstatement, but like 2 or 3 or 4 people who are very credible saying they saw a bullet hole in the front windshield, and then they took the car away. But people were like, hey, a bullet hole, and then like a bunch of guys in suits and sunglasses took the car away. But yeah, there's no fucking way that guy Oswald, with whatever antique gun they said he had, fucking fired 3 shots from that far away and did that much damage. There's no way. And they would never, well, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, but then he was out on the streets and he killed another cop.
Yeah.
He was obviously violent, violent mood. He was very aggressive.
I mean, that's one way to look at it. I don't like that. I don't like that kind of talk. You're never going on a date with me. As far as I know, Oswald seems like a nice man who never would have done that. He had curtain rods. That's what the whole thing was. It was curtain rods. He had a package with him. His friend gave him a ride to work, and he had curtain rods with him.
That
seems weird. I don't travel with curtain rods.
Is that true?
Yes. There was a man who gave him a ride to work on a regular basis, and that day he had a package of curtain rods. But the guy insists that there's no fucking way that the curtain rods were long enough that they could have been a gun, even if the gun was broken down.
Badge man, curtain rods man, Hard Hat Man.
No, Curtain Rods Man is Lee Harvey Oswald.
Oh, yeah.
He said that that's what he had with him. I do find that odd because even if you had curtain rods, who the fuck would ever bring them there for his house? Why would he bring them to work? Who travels?
Once he shot JFK, he was going to go get his custom Cuba curtains and hang them up.
Just curtains that have Cuba on them?
Yeah.
Maybe it was a gun in a curtain rod's case, Chris. Have you thought about that? That's what I'm saying.
Yes, but you think this hasn't been brought up? You think this hasn't been examined by a team of expert estranged fathers? The package was too short. Even if the gun was broken down, the guy said there's no way, even if the muzzle was off the gun, there's no way it could have been the curtain rods. He said the package was simply too small. So too bad. Nice try. You might want to get involved. You might want to get PowerDirector and make your own video if you want to prove that. And ignore your children's birthday or your child's too young to have a birthday yet. How old's your child, John?
Oh, I don't know, Chris.
Okay, cool. That's great. That makes you look real good.
I'm too busy watching PowerDirector.
Okay, so now we're going to go to, with our remaining time, which we have a little bit of time left. Thank you again for tuning in to Cold Brew Got Me Like. There is the podcast.
Cold Brew Got Me Like
on Spreaker.
You can also, if you want to watch the video later, youtube.com.
Oh, we're going to have it on there?
Oh, yeah.
Is that true?
It's true.
Oh, wow.
You can check out last week's episode.
Is it up too?
Yeah.
Well, are you going to tell me this stuff?
You've posted it.
How the fuck am I supposed to make any canaries if you don't tell me about the canaries?
You posted a link to it.
All right. I feel like I'm all alone in this coal mine. Thank you. Okay. So this next thing is, okay. I write an advice column.
Yeah, this may require some setup.
I wrote an advice column about global warming, and it was kind of true and kind of a joke, like most of my advice columns. I pretty much said, if global warming, if the sea level rises, then you just either move to a hill or you become good friends with someone who lives on a hill. So, and then I talked about how roaches will be the only ones left when civilization is over, and they'll teach in colleges about how dumb we were for paving the whole earth. This is a big thing I like to talk about. I like to talk about the fact that I cannot fucking believe that 100 years ago the car was invented and we paved the whole earth as a result. Like, we immediately were like, well, this invention means that this is the only invention that'll ever be important, so let's just pave everything. So we paved the entire globe. And then it turned out that the cars make the earth warm. But everyone was like, well, it's too late now. We like cars. So anyway, that's what the column's about. It's about roaches in college learning about the human race.
I bet dinosaurs made a similar mistake. Like they got focused on one thing that was ultimately their demise. Just go ahead.
What was it? For humans, what is it, though?
Like a certain kind of destructive plant that they don't eat those. Oh, no, we're all going to eat all those. It's going to be over.
Like they found out.
Or maybe they started shitting in the volcanoes. I don't know. So there was one thing that happened.
Well, shitting in the volcano. Where the fuck else are you supposed to shit? Where do you shit? Seriously. I shit in an inactive volcano about 40 yards from my house.
We're just smart enough to reflect on the pavement. That's all.
Right. Well, yeah, I agree with you. I'm sure there was some kind of like tree there was probably some tree that the dinosaurs like to chew, and it made them fart, and that set up whatever cataclysm they had, and then like some jerk dinosaurs were like, there's nothing more if you stop chewing that tree, there's nothing more American dinosaur, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing more dinosaur than chewing that tree, and if you stop chewing that tree, you're a communist socialist dinosaur. And then one day, all their farts caused a fucking meteor.
Yeah, and then they
turned
into oil. They turned into oil, so it was the original sin. It was the dinosaurs not knowing when to stop eating those damn trees.
You're damn right. It's the original sin of oil. Oh, my God. Can you play an explosion sound for that, please? Oh,
Shitting in a volcano.
there's no. Now I understand why you're sitting in front of that Raiders logo. I'll tell you that. Just became clear. You just fucking cracked the case on everything. You need a power. Do you have the program PowerDirector?
If Jim Garrison had the Greg Crofton type indomitable spirit, we wouldn't be rereading the Warren Commission for the rest of our lives. We'd know the answers.
Just win. God damn it.
It's all the dinosaurs' fault. That's what Jim, whatever his name should have said. What's his name? Jim Warren? No, Jim Garrison. Jim Warren was the guy who ran the Warren Report.
Anyway, sorry, back to your intro.
Hi, I'm Jim Warren. I've determined after being
our poor canaries have been staring at this fucking angry dog.
Canaries!
Hi, my name's Jim Warren. I'm in charge of the Warren Commission, and after being threatened by everyone in the whole world, I have decided that there was one gunman. Thank you very much. We'll see you later. Okay, this guy read my column out loud. This guy has a channel on YouTube with the production values that of John Wayne Gacy, I would think. If John Wayne Gacy, famed child murderer, had a YouTube channel, I would assume it would look something like this. I'm convinced this man has bodies underneath this chair, underneath the floor this chair is on. There are definitely human skulls. And why in the world he made his dog sit there to begin the video? But the other thing is he has 900 views on this video. How the fuck? I've got videos up that have less than that. And I'm
one
trying.
right now that you can go look at. It's the first episode of Soldier Got Me Like.
And I'm trying. Okay. So this man reads my column out loud, but I'm really just more interested in the fact that he read the column out loud made me kind of happy because he's an environmentalist, I guess. But he's kind of a libertarian. He's one of these guys like, well, I guess everyone's fucked except me. Like, I'm going to be living up here. Like, he's like, I got a generator, so fuck you. Like, I'm not really too worried, but everybody else who doesn't have a generator can fuck off. So this guy reads my column. But it reminds me of when Lenny Bruce got in trouble and the police did his act in court. Like they just read the stuff he said.
Yeah.
And Lenny Bruce was like, yeah, it all sounds like pornography when they say it because they're policemen. So the humor.
You kill two birds with one stone. You have a funny video and you compare yourself to Lenny Bruce. This is good shit.
You see how that went? You see how I did that? Okay. But yeah, so Lenny Bruce was like, yeah, when I talk about tits and ass or whatever, it's funny. But these cops just went up there and read, he said, tits, ass, He's like, well, yeah, you put it in context, it's a joke. If you put it out of context, it's pornography. So this man makes my column sound like pornography. But it's the craziest, wackiest column, and he reads it with no sense of humor. This section of the show will probably be a bit of a bomb because it's maybe not going to be that funny because I should read the whole column, but I don't have time. So here's this guy. We'll just watch. I just think it's funny because these people exist and put up videos of, look at this. Oh, yeah, I'll leave the part where I move my dog.
All right, guys. It is another hazy, smoky day here in the end time.
Okay, pause it right now. What the fuck kind of accent is that?
I think it's Christopher Walken if he was a gay Southerner.
That is not look at those fucking pants. You can tell a libertarian a mile away when they're wearing some loose fucking pants like that.
Poncho pants.
Yeah, that dog doesn't know it's a Republican.
It's in the Green Mountains of Vermont. Good God, I can only imagine what this wildfire must look like up in Canada. I have noticed, is this day 5 of this shit? I have noticed that there has not been one single story anywhere in the mainstream media, at least on Yahoo News that I have found, mentioning whatever is going on up there to create this.
Hold on, pause it. This is the man. This is the man who made the videos. This is the man who made the videos.
Jim City Record Collector also asks, is this Badge Man?
There you go. I mean, obviously. I'm sorry. It's either Badge Man or it's the guy who made the video where it's just like the zooming in on a photograph and the music.
Was Badge Man just holding a white dog?
I think he probably was. He was probably holding up his dog to see. So this man
clearly from California,
All right.
right?
Well, I just found out how I'm going to pronounce Yahoo. First of all, he says, I haven't seen, there's not been one story in the mainstream media at all, and I've checked Yahoo. It never got mentioned. I've checked Yahoo over and over. They aren't talking about it. All right. Sorry.
Smoke overtaking a fourth of the damn country. Anyway, what is this smoky day? It is Thursday, July 11th, 2019. And I have got to get ready for my interview. I'm really looking forward to my conversation with this fellow James Dyke. If you're not familiar with James, you will be shortly. Great guy. So I really need to get ready for that. So I'm just going to do for now, I might come back later today. Oh, before I go, I do want to send out a big thank you to Brother John. Thank you very much, John, for your kind donation.
Okay, we gotta stop it. We probably should fast forward because, did you say we're losing canaries?
This guy clearly is an incisive interviewer. He's
Let's give it a little more time.
We'll get to know him soon enough.
Here on YouTube, Sancho is seems to be doing all right. We're still waiting for the first bowel movement. So anyway, guys, I haven't even gone over to the mainstream media today, you know.
Okay. Here's another thing. Entertainment has become like, people have forgotten what entertainment is. Like, you just saying stuff that you should be saying in your own head is not entertainment. He's not none of that stuff he said starting this video that's all stuff you're supposed to be thinking about in the shower. You're not supposed to be saying that out loud on a camera.
Inches of rain could swamp Louisiana in the next day or two. And this is the first...
I guess this is what happens when you don't have anyone to talk to about the weather.
A tropical depression. Jesus, we're so fucked. But anyway...
Stop for a second. If you were ever wondering what everybody who hangs out in a Starbucks for longer than a half an hour, what their personalities are like, this is them right here. If you're wondering what that guy who sits in... He wishes he could be saying this stuff to you.
So this is like the fourth venti guy?
This is a guy who just like keeps coming up to get more hot water for his tea bag.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's play the beginning of him reading this shit.
A class of cockroaches just trying to figure out humans 101. You know, nobody, no future.
No, I think you went just far enough. I think maybe we should just call this segment over. This segment sucks. I'm sorry, everybody. I write an Advice King column. I write it for the Nashville scene, and you can go read it if you want. And you can read the one about roaches. If you Google Advice King, Chris Crofton roaches, and you plug that into Yahoo, then you will get my column, and then you won't have to listen to this guy. I thought it would be funny to watch him, but it's actually just annoying.
No, it was funny.
I mean, it's funny when he reads the whole column.
Maybe if our canaries now give us an Advice King question good enough to get into Advice King, maybe, just maybe, this guy might read it on the air.
Hold on, we're calling people in the chat room canaries now?
Yeah, why not? I feel like that's a catch-all for anything.
Okay, great. I'm sure they love that. I'm sure they want to be called a fucking canary. They can't call them something else, like something more... That's kind of... A canary's like a little tiny thing. Call them like the cold brew gorillas or something.
Oh, I think Rogan's already got all that. I think Rogan trademarked anything primal, primate-ish.
All right, well...
Brother, I've been hitting people with sticks my whole life.
Okay, all right, let's wrap it up. We're going to do an Advice King segment where we look into the chat. where the cold brew gorillas are, and find out what they want to ask the Advice King, which is me, and I live in a storage room. And if you want to go on a date with me, you have to talk about JFK.
This is the most convoluted Bumble profile episode ever.
Do you have I've learned something as I've gotten older is that women really like it when you have one occupation, which makes me fucked. Like, whenever you're like, well, as soon as you say, well, they're out. They just want to hear doctor, director. They don't want to hear, well, it's kind of as soon as you get to, it's kind of you're just done.
I want to hear architect.
Just something simple. They don't want to hear like a bunch
architect. That's the one, man.
How do I describe this? They're already out. So, yeah, try and narrow it down. I think they just like to hear one occupation, whether it's clown or doctor. It doesn't make any difference. They just want to hear one word. They don't want to hear some long thing.
Landscape artist.
No,
that's fine. No, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah. Badge man? What if you just put as your occupation badge man?
All that would mean to them was that you had a huge white beard. So, do we have any questions, or we do not have questions?
Last call for questions, folks.
We got nothing. Nobody wants to fucking ask me anything. Okay. Well, I guess we're wrapping it up. Thank you very much for tuning in to Cold Brew Got Me Like this week. You can go find my Twitter at the Crofton Show. And that's where we're going to pin the links to the videos for those of you listening as a podcast, and that's on Spreaker. And you can go to YouTube to see these. Do you know where it won't be Cold Brew Got Me Like one word?
Not yet, but we have to get like 100 followers. But eventually, right now, you just go to our profile, just search Cold Brew Got Me Like on YouTube. Furthermore, check out patreon.com/Cold Brew Got Me Like, where we have
/Chris Crofton
revamped Patreon page.
Did you change it to Cold Brew Got Me Like? It's Chris Crofton.
Oh, sorry. Patreon.com/Chris Crofton.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in that. I'm gonna get in that more. We're setting up a, what do you call it?
Got a Discord. We've got
so many more fucking apps. Discord. So you can get on on my Patreon and go on Discord, and then you can talk to me about how mad I am about apps and Discord. You can talk to me. I'll talk on Discord about how annoying Discord is at some point.
The odyssey of Chris and I creating that Discord.
Right now, I have a big job. I'm writing a book right now, and it's due in a month, and this is not a lie. So the next month, I'm just going to be promoting this show. I might not be able to get on. I'll try and get on Discord once a week if anyone's on there. I think if you subscribe to the Patreon for $5, then every day I'll go on there and say, man, oh man, what about the pandemic? And that, you can go on there and see that. Yeah, is that fun? I mean, fun. When I say fun, I mean like the best you can or whatever. Like I'll do that every day. So you get it's $5 a month to hear me bitch.
And what's the name of your latest column for the scene?
The latest column is about gender pronouns, and I'm really proud of it. And it's about how calling people they them is
It's awesome. So everyone check it out if they can.
I mean, it's their world. Fuck you. You're old. So you can go check out that, and then listen to my record, Hello, It's Me, on all the platforms, or you can go buy it from Arrowhawk Records, or you can buy it from Bandcamp. And that's all. And Greg's at channel. Go ahead, Greg.
Channel Nonfiction. That's good enough. Just check out the website.
At Channel NF on Twitter. Yeah. And John, you want to promote anything?
Nope.
Besides that haircut? What's that called? Dutch boy?
Getting by. This is the badge man.
Thank you, Eric Wilson, for doing all the tech stuff, and thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Cold Brew Got Me Like.